Hi guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel, and today I thought we would do a reading that was requested by Twin Towers. How do they see you then versus how do they see you now? So I have 3 piles, pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. If you need another minute to pick your pile, go ahead and pause the video here. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and start with pile number 1. Okay, pile 1. I do have some cards. I haven't looked at any of these, so. Alright, pile number 1. How do they see you then versus how do they see you now? First of all, if you're new to my channel, welcome and hi, but also I did a reading, I posted it yesterday, and it's interesting because it had these same 2 cards come out for pile number 2. And the video was called Who's Coming Towards You in Love. So I don't know if this is related. Maybe you guys want to check out that video. I just needed to throw that out there because I find it so strange that would come out just like that again. So, how is your person seeing you now versus then? So let's start off with how they saw you then. And first of all, overall, I'm just getting an energy of like, I do think that you are difficult for this person to read. Maybe difficult for people in general to read because you could come off very stoic. Maybe you don't open up to people very easily. I think that you have a lot of goals. You're very focused. And so a lot of your energy goes towards that, or at least that's how they saw you in the past. They could have seen you as maybe very stern, very trying to achieve in your career and climb your way to the top, maybe even taking other people out in order to do it. Maybe they saw you as a little bit entitled, a little harsh, a little cold, maybe a little standoffish, hard to read. I think they knew that you were smart, maybe even brilliant in some way, and that you definitely brought some kind of a skill or a talent to your life and your job. I think maybe they thought, whenever they saw you warm up, it was like maybe around, superiors or, it was kind of in a way where they thought that you were, a social climber in a sense. I think that you always look very put together, but they kind of thought there was a reason for that, I think that you actually look really put together a lot of the time. And so maybe they thought you were a little like snobbish or stuck up in a sense. Maybe they think that you came from money, and your father maybe could be well known, or they think that your father is successful or has money or something like that. Because with the energy of Saturn and the Sun, both are very fatherly energies. So they could see you as a father. They could see you with that kind of energy. I definitely think they see you as a leader. Maybe you have a leadership position, but you're like a hard leader where you pay attention to the rules and you expect people to follow the rules. Not a lot really gets by you. You pay attention to the details, you crunch the numbers, and you want results. You really drive people at your job, like you really want them to be performing. Because for you, it's almost like a Steve Jobs kind of an energy where like you have a vision and you're going to get people in line to to get that, to achieve your goals. I don't think this person saw you as very receptive in the beginning, right? We're still talking about the beginning energy because, spoiler alert, this has changed. If you're feeling any kind of like anxiety around this, and this person was a little afraid of you at the beginning. Like they saw you as a bit standoffish. Maybe they thought that they didn't want your attention on them or that you weren't paying attention to them, something like that. Eyes on the prize kind of a thing. So, yeah, and I'm just getting, again, like down here, okay, so with the King of Wands and like how they saw you in the present, you're very strategic, I think that you have a magnetism about you. It's just a different kind of magnetism. It is a quiet sort of a magnetism. I do think there's something about your stature that is impressive or intense, inspires some kind of awe within them. And it's very dignified. There's a dignity to your demeanor that just kind of commands respect. And you have, so in your past and in your future, you have 2 major arcana cards. So they definitely saw you as coming from and going to someplace, And, but it's interesting with the Tower in the past position, they could have thought that you've been through a lot. Maybe there was a lot of competition. Maybe you had to like overcome something in order to become who you were. Maybe you had to break with tradition in some way, or there was a lot of, just fighting. But, I know what I'm getting. But it was like you were very strategic. Maybe you knew how to navigate certain fights, or you instigated certain fights, like to kind of get where you are. That's not going to resonate with everybody. That's very, it sounds like a TV show, but I think they have thought that you've always known what you were doing. You were always going to go to the top and like kind of take people out and on your way there if you needed to. But the way that you do that is kind of scorpionic in a sense that it's, you're paying attention, you get people to kind of trust you. Like this is shadow side Scorpio, where you can kind of get people to trust you. You're very psychologically minded and you're 2 steps ahead of everybody. And you kind of use people's weaknesses against them in order to basically get where you want. This gets better, I promise. This gets so much better. So just stick with me. So in the future, it's like they saw you as the lover. So I think this is just the seed of them starting to see you in a different light and starting to see that maybe there was a side to you that you didn't show people all the time, and that actually you did want to work together with people. Maybe they thought that you had some kind of a crossroads coming up where you needed to make a choice because you had achieved a lot. They definitely see you as a high achiever, or someone who's capable of achieving a lot and who desires to achieve a lot and will do what it takes to get there. Very driven. So yeah, with the Lovers card, I mean, maybe they saw you as forming some kind of a partnership with someone or teaming up with someone. Maybe there's someone, I'm almost getting for some of you that there was someone at work that, you really got along with, and that was very beneficial to you. So yeah, and then overall, I think that they're thinking that you came from some kind of a family background. Maybe your family owns the company that you're working with. That could be for some of you, or maybe honestly part of this achievement could have been that you came in and cleaned up a mess at whatever company you were working for, and it shows like that you really know what you're doing. I mean, I think, it's not like, oh, well, you have no talent, you just backstab people. No, they see you as very talented, very good at what you do, almost to a fault, but like that you're very focused on it. Because the Four of Wands can be turning order from chaos. So they could think that you had a lot to do with maybe the success of your workplace, and that it was, maybe wild and crazy before. I think they could think that you're harsh with your words, and I don't necessarily know that this person's heard you speak a lot. I think they're just intimidated. They were, just intimidated by your demeanor, and so they thought probably maybe you were harsh with your words. They also, I think, could see you as a bit of a player, like, oh, that person is just a cold person. That's that archetype of like the cold business person that's, very succeeds in their career, but, is a bit of a playboy, not really serious in relationships, unless they can get something out of it, basically. So, I mean, they could have seen you as going through some kind of pain too. I don't know if you were ill, or you had some kind of, injury, but they see you as having gone through something difficult, or ending some kind of a cycle at work or something. I don't think it was easy to do, though. I'm just getting a lot of work energy here. I think they associate you like with your job, basically, or they did. Sorry, I should be saying they did. They did. So it gets a lot better, like a lot better, you guys. So I don't know if you've had some kind of interaction with this person, or they've just gotten to see you a little bit more. But I think they're starting to see that there are layers to you. And again, like Steve Jobs is kind of a good example, because with the Uranus card here and the water energy, Uranus is the energy of Aquarius. It's the energy of the scientist, a little bit of a rule breaker, somebody who doesn't fit the mold. And I think they're realizing now, like, that doesn't come from a place of arrogance, and that doesn't come from a place of superiority. That comes from a place of, I want to say the word genius. And if not genius, just an interesting, like, you have an interesting, unique perspective. I think you're very smart. Your person sees you as very smart, very intelligent, but in a very creative way, especially with the water card here, and definitely with little Luna Cat as your totem. Like, I think that there's a depth to you, and that you're considering a lot of variables that a lot of other people don't see, and that actually makes you really good at your job. And honestly, it probably does set you apart, and probably has set you apart for a lot of your life. Like, it's not that you are snobbish. It's not, where they thought you were snobbish before, because you're really put together, and you kind of give off those, you are awesome, and you get results, and you are career minded, and those kinds of things. They're realizing that it doesn't come from a place of like having a superiority complex or anything like that. It just comes from literally you stand apart. Like, you just do. It's a fact with the Uranus card here, especially with water as well. Because there's something here, like Uranus is Aquarius, right? This is space. This represents like outer space, literally like leaving the atmosphere. And water goes to the lowest place. So you have a way of seeing things very whole, in a very whole way. And seeing things from the water element to the air element. And water to air, right? This is when people say things like fire and air mix and water and earth mix, those are horizontal, that's the horizontal like human plane, right? And I know that sounds weird, and I don't want to divert the track to try to explain what I'm meaning. I just hope that it's coming across, where the connection between like water and air, or fire and earth, is a vertical. It's a divine dimension. It requires some kind of an alchemy to achieve it. It requires mastery. That's why you notice in the tarot, the king and queen of each suit, like, they embody those vertical dimensions, right? Like the king, queen of swords, that's air and earth, right? Air and earth don't tend to mix, but it's divine. That's why it's royal and like masterful to have achieved that. That earth energy kind of tempering the swords energy in order to make it masterful, right? The same thing with like the wands, where that's fire and water, right? They don't mix. without some kind of an alchemy, and each one, they're balancing forces, right? So that was a long-winded way of saying that you have some that achieved that very masterful knowledge. Does that make sense? Okay. In whatever it is that you're doing. And whatever it is that you're doing, they see you as really keeping people in mind, because you have the advocate and the hero card here, whereas over here you had the king and the bully card, right? So that's like very superior, very harsh kind of energy, where you know, now they see you as an advocate and the hero heroine. And I'm just going to read these. The light attribute inspires you to put compassion in action. Although the shadow attribute is embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. Interesting. And then hero, heroine, passion for a journey of personal empowerment is the light attribute, and the shadow attribute is escapism and a false sense of heroism. I do kind of get the sense that they're seeing you in a positive light, though. So I think that they see you as a person who uses your leadership to help other people, that uses your strengths, your talents, your insights in order to help other people. That's something that is very important to you. Definitely, yes, like clarified by these cards down here. And let's get into that now. So now, the way that they're looking on you and your life kind of timeline, right? Where you came from, where you are in the present moment, and where you're going is a lot more spiritual and a lot more reflective. That's basically, if I could sum this reading up, now like the way that they were seeing you then has matured into something where it's less like very dictatorial and harsh, into something that's more spiritual, more reflective, you know? There's a lot more respect over here, a lot more. And in that way, this is actually a really positive reading. So where they see you now is the Hangman, which is major arcana. And this is all about, you know, looking at the world. Again, we have that theme of like looking at the world from a different point of view, seeing things that other people don't see. But it's interesting because you put yourself there. And I think that you put yourself there because you value, with this air element, you know, you value having that broad mind and the big perspective, right? You want to see truth, because without seeing truth, how do you know where to go to work and what things need fixing? That's definitely how your mind works. That's consistent across this. And so they see you now as looking, as kind of, you know, brilliant in a sense, where you look at things from a different perspective. And there's still that very reserved quality in this card, but it's more serene, it's more reflective. It's got a more reflective nature rather than like a snobbish or stuck up kind of a nature to it. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's a very, this is such a compliment, right? Because he can get down at any moment. And this is initiation. So your person could see you as spiritual, especially, you know, with this Uranus and water card, like a groundbreaker. And then in your past, whereas before they were seeing you as, you know, maybe you stepped on a lot of people to get where you were going, or there was some kind of fighting, the energy of fighting, and that you were really strategic and you knew what you're doing. Now we have the Chariot, which is also major arcana. And this is also the young king card, or the young queen card in this sense, where, you know, maybe you did come from money, but you were really trying to find your own way. You know, maybe I think that you're probably educated, or you're getting your education, something like that. And this person can see that you got your education, right? Like either your parents, this is all about, the Chariot follows the Lovers, which is interesting because it's almost like this went straight over here for this person, where they started to notice that there was that different side to you. And so they're seeing that now more as like wisdom, and you being engaged with your process with the Chariot card here. Which way are you going to go? What kind of a person are you going to be? How and in what ways are you going to break with tradition? Right? And again, it's the young king card. So this does imply some kind of status still, or some kind of, you know, responsibility or privilege, something like that, because like I said, it's the young king on the move. Like the king hasn't established his kingdom yet, but he's still very like promising character. So I'm doing a bad job of explaining this, but basically by the time you get to the Lovers, this is when our psyche splits and we start to observe, right? Before, it's these primordial energies of the Magician and the Empress and the High Priestess, and they're all very authoritative and godlike. This represents the universe and our parents when you get to the Emperor and the Empress, and listening to that. Whereas in the Lovers, and with Gemini and Ardra, the nakshatra of Ardra, you have that fall where you start to really question those teachings and see if they work for you. So your person thinks that you've had a very reflective process. It wasn't that you were just very strategic. You were strategic, but you were strategic and true to your heart at the same time. There we go. So in the future, your person sees you going into like a Four of Swords kind of energy, which is contemplative. There's a highly contemplative energy to you, and that's how they're viewing you now. You're a person who probably has a lot of worries because of your mental capacity, because of your probably job position. Your person thinks that you are stable in some kind of a sense. Definitely with your work and everything, but that maybe ultimately what you're doing isn't going to fulfill you, and so you've got a lot to reflect on. Or you kind of, I don't know, stagnate is the wrong word, because this is, maybe you just remove yourself from the public eye a little bit more. Maybe as you move up the ladder, this person thinks like as you move up the ladder, you'll get more and more removed from people and you'll be more and more of a brain. Maybe they think that would be more fulfilling for you. Maybe you work less with people, you deal more with ideas, that kind of a thing. And your person, first of all, they see you as incredible. They really do. And having some kind of power, especially with the High Priestess card here. Again, we have that repeating theme of stoicism with that, in major arcana too, with the Hangman and then the High Priestess. We also have the Queen of Pentacles here, which she's also very quiet and very stoic. Heavy manifester. I do think that your person sees you probably as having some kind of wealth, being very educated, in a very humble way, but you know your stuff. Your person, it's not a facade. It's not that you stab your way to the top, although we do have the Five of Swords here. And I'm not seeing this so much as, I can get some bad vibes from this card, but this person here who has defended, who has defeated these other people, like, he has done the work, he's legitimately the stronger fighter here. And again, I'm getting Sun Tzu, the Art of War, appear weak where you were strong and appear strong where you were weak. This person does see you as a strategist, but they don't see it as coming from a nefarious place anymore. Like, you are a social climber. You're just kind of built for it, I think, in this person's mind. And you are legitimately smarter. But I do think there's a sense of doing it for the right reasons. And then in a way, you're kind of a trailblazer. Your person definitely sees you as a trailblazer. There's a contentment to you. People who are, very, how do I want to describe this? People who, they have a lot, they feel very secure in their positions. There's just like a contentedness about their presence, like a soft contentedness to them that's very pleasant to be around. And I think your person sees that in you as well. I do think that your person sees you as having some kind of beauty here that's overlooked. So, and they've always seen you as beautiful, but before it was like maybe statuesque or cold or for the wrong reasons or, something like that. But they think you have like an otherworldly, something about you seems like it's almost ethereal or otherworldly to them. Very different. You're very different, very unique person. They almost don't know what to do with you. So that is what your person thinks of you, pile number one. If that resonated, please do like and comment, subscribe to my channel. This part always is awkward for me, so I'm just going to quietly put my cards away. All right, bye, pile one. Okay, pile number two. What did they think of you then versus what do they think of you now? Okay, pile number 2. First of all, there's not a whole lot of change, like right off the bat. There is change in the way, but I think it stayed fairly consistent. And I think one of the reasons for that is before your person didn't really know you all that well, but it's like they overestimated how much they did know you, if that makes sense. Like they saw you, they made their judgments about you, and they thought that they were right and that what they were seeing, you know what, I always say this, and this bothers me about people, where, you know, like in astrology, right, you have the rising sign, then you have somebody's sun sign, then you have somebody's moon sign, and that's just a basic way of understanding people. Like, it's kind of strange and maybe even arrogant to think that when you meet somebody for the first time that you're meeting the wholeness of that person, right? Maybe, like, depending on, again, what your rising sign is, maybe you are really forthright and you feel very safe in all situations, and, you know, you have some kind of, you know, maybe privilege or status in life where you don't feel like you need to protect yourself. But for a lot of people, we get to know people slowly. And then, you know, as you start to trust someone, then you show somebody, you know, more of your sun sign. And then, wow, like, you get to show your moon sign, you know. And of course that varies, you know, from people. But it's always amazing to me when people, you know, they meet somebody and, like, they think they know the totality of who they are without really getting to know them. And I think that's kind of what happened with your person, is like they met you and maybe this person is really good at reading people. Like, that happens too, right? Where there's people who are really good at reading people, maybe even very, like, psychic, and maybe your person is like that, but you threw them for a loop here, if that is the case. So before, like I said, these energies are pretty consistent with just kind of minor tweaks. So before, they were seeing you as, first of all, very beautiful, very quiet, maybe very physically active. With the Earth and the Mars energy here, I'm getting, like, kind of a yoga vibe. So maybe you guys did some kind of yoga together, or they knew you from the gym, and they saw, like, that you had a routine, and your routine was kind of, you know, active, and it involved, you know, maybe you drank a smoothie, you know, or a protein shake or something with that Earth energy there. But I do think that they thought that you know, like, you're a person who takes really good care of yourself. You probably have a spiritual side. You look beautiful, like, you dress really well. Maybe you have a really nice home or a nice space. This person just kind of sees you surrounded by beauty. You could be a person who, you know, likes flowers, likes to garden, but again, likes being physically active. You could have definitely met this person, you know, like, around some kind of active thing. I think they thought that you were very goal-oriented. You achieve your goals, but, like, in a quietly persistent sort of a way. We have the Goddess card and the Messiah card. So definitely your person thought that you were beautiful. with the light attribute, we have the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. Definitely getting a vibe of nature here. You might like to hike or something. This person could have thought that about you. And then with the Messiah card, serving humanity with humility. And humility stands out to me there because I am getting a very humble sort of an energy. You know, it's like you kind of seem awesome, but like you're also humble. And so I think this person just kind of noticed that about you right away. But there's something about you that was mysterious to this person. I think they kind of recognized that you were a bit of a mystery to them because for your present energy, like when they were observing you, like how they thought you were in that moment, we have the Moon card, which is major arcana, and it's all about, you know, mystery and illusions and yeah, just kind of not being able to feel, knowing that there's more, you know, there's something behind the surface there. So I do think that your person found you a bit guarded and reserved and also very protective of yourself. And I'm getting that with the turtle here too. And I definitely see that energy kind of carrying over here, but it's a little less. So in your past, they saw you as the King of Wands. So maybe you traveled a lot. Again, I'm getting a heavy goal-oriented energy. So maybe you were at a place, or this person saw you as being at a place of stability, like a plateau after some kind of an achievement. Maybe you had just finished your degree, or, you know, you've gotten your job, or you're stable in your job, but they know that you've had a bit of a life, you know, that maybe you did travel around, maybe you lived in another place, maybe you know, there was some kind of goals that you had to achieve in one way or another. And yeah, especially like, I don't know, with the Mars and the King of Wands, could have moved around. But there's like a dignity to you. There's definitely like a sense of regal, beautiful, grounded, steady, goal-oriented energy here. Did I say beautiful? Because I should say that. Sexy, bordering like sexy beautiful. Like both at the same time. So where they saw you going in the future, like maybe they thought that you wanted to have a kid, but I think they saw you breaking with tradition in some kind of a way. And this could have to do with that goal-oriented energy where it's like this person sees you or saw you as a person who, like, you know, you achieve a goal, you kind of plateau for a little bit, but, you know, and just enjoy like life and enjoy the good life after you've worked really hard for something. And so you have like that really earthy experience where, you know, you're settled for a bit, you live in one place, have a bit of an experience, and then you're off to the next thing where you're achieving your next goal. So this person kind of always thought that you were achieving your next goal. So again, yeah, because like you in the past, it's like you were the king. So I feel like you were like big, you know, so you completed something here, and then now you're starting off on the next thing with the page energy. You know, this could even be like completing a bachelor's degree and then starting a master's degree, or completing a master, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're a person who completes goals and starts new ones. I think they see you as a person who likes to learn things too. Like, you're constantly improving yourself. And like I said, this continues on over here too. So they see you as somebody who is a lover of knowledge, somebody who has gone through a bit of heartbreak, and I think that's why they think you're protective, or they thought you were a little bit more protective, but they see you as like a really hard worker. I'm just getting that energy throughout this pile. They see you as a very hard worker, and whatever you do, you really put your mind to, and you want to master it. You know, like you're a person of quality, and whatever you do, whenever you put your time towards, you're going to do it well. I think that they also see you as spiritual and somebody who trusts in the divine with the Wheel of Fortune card down here. Yeah, I'm just getting the energy of like completing cycles and completing goals. And I think maybe whenever you were first around this person, they were first forming their opinion of you, I think you did like achieve some kind of goals. And I really am thinking it had something to do with education and learning. If it's not formal education, you know, you completed like a yoga teacher training, or you know, body talk or something. It might have to do with something very practical and the body, something like that. Maybe even the head, because Mars rules the head. So yeah, and there's something very strong about you, something very delicate. It's kind of how they viewed you. So, like I said, moving over here, we didn't really change much, but I do think that this person, they still find you very beautiful. And they still find you very protective of yourself with the Cancer energy here. I think they find you more... What's the word? There's a quality that I'm trying to express here. Like, you're protective, maybe afraid even, like, and I'm getting that with the heartbreak energy here. Like, so maybe their understanding of your heartbreak, I don't know, it's like they have a more visceral understanding of it, where it's like you have some kind of fears that you, because of your past, that really weighs heavily on your mind with the Gemini energy here as well. I think that they see you as more a work in progress here. And they definitely see you more as a more mental energy over here, especially with the Seeker card. Like, there's always been this love of knowledge with you, but like you have they think that your mind is a lot more active now than they did in the past. Like, that you are a thinker. You like to think about things. Maybe you even like to converse. It's like you almost had a quiet energy, and it could be just because I do think you are slow to come out of your shell, but it's like once you trust people, you're actually very talkative. You know, you like to talk about ideas. You, like this Cancer energy, you could be like a Cancer rising, you know, Gemini sun, or have like heavy Mercury in your chart or something like that. Again, it's not much of a difference though. It's not much of a difference. With the Virgin card, we have maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit. And with the Seeker card, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. So see how that's very consistent? I mean, I think that this beauty that they see, they want to protect you a little more now. Now that they know a little bit more. Like, I think you put on a really strong front, and that's what this person was, you know, picking up on. But now that they've maybe been around you a little longer, gotten to know you a little bit better, it's like they're like, actually, this person like fronts really strong, and they've had to be strong for a really long time. But like, when you get to know them, they're very playful, they're very childlike, they're very loving, and they have like an ooey gooey center. You know, it's like this person kind of maybe saw your ooey gooey center and that very agile mind that you don't maybe unleash on people right away. And definitely with the Seeker, like they see, yeah, okay, you know, you've met a lot of goals in the past, but it's like they're grounding that in like, oh, well, this person, they really, it's like a thirst for knowledge. Like, this is so core to who you are, you know? I almost think they see you younger now than they did before. Like, there's a youthfulness about your energy, a playfulness, a joyousness that maybe they didn't pick up on before. Like, before, I think they thought you were very serious kind of an energy. And it's like you have that like tenacity to meet your goals and stuff, but when it comes down to it, I think you're very fun, very very lighthearted. Maybe even different than them. They could see you as like, you know, like opposite to them, but still very copacetic. It's so weird to me, the words I use on this channel, where I'm like, have I always said the word copacetic, or is that a new thing? So what is interesting now is, like I said, with the Page of Wands, like they're seeing you as the Page of Swords, which is very young energy. It's the energy of a student. It's maybe the energy of a messenger, someone who is sharp with their words, maybe even a little messy with their words. Somebody, I mean, look at this. This is like defiance, you know? So you could see you as a bit defiant, right? It's still that protective energy, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting the sense that it's like something about this person unsettles you in a sense. So I'm still not sure that they're getting the real you. You know what I mean? They're seeing you as somewhat like smaller. I don't mean that to be offensive. more casual. Maybe. I think they were very intimidated when they first met you. And like as you get to know people, it's like, oh, you kind of get to know a little bit of who they are. So what's weird is in the past is the Two of Cups, and I almost wonder if they think this is like, I almost wonder if you got a little snappy with them, and so they're like, oh, well, we used to, be a little bit more harmonious and get along. But I think there's something about, the Two of Cups is about friendships and relationships, and, I think you're speaking your mind more. I think this is just you're moving into yourself a little bit more. You're coming out of your shell a little bit more. You probably gave yourself permission to talk, to say things that are on your mind, Because this isn't necessarily like wrong or right. And I have to actually remind myself that it's not like, oh, well, this was like some kind of a false persona and this is like some kind of a truer persona. That's not it at all. We don't have that. This is just how one person is perceiving you. I don't think this person sees you fully. I just gotta say that. I still don't think this person has all that meaningful of access to you for whatever reason. In your future, they see the Ten of Wands, which is burden. So, I don't know, again, this could be some kind of over here, again, this could be again, copacetic, because maybe they see that you're going through some kind of a spiritual awakening. Maybe back then, they saw your future as starting some kind of a spiritual awakening and breaking from tradition in some kind of a way. So now it's like they're seeing your future as going through the burden of that, because spiritual transformation, spiritual awakening, it's not an easy energy to go through. So they just see you kind of going through the work of that. Do you know what I mean? And it's like whenever you meet a new level, what was your top is now your bottom. That's exactly what we were expressing over here. Where you were the King of Wands, all of a sudden you graduated, now, you're a freshman, but you're in a master's degree program. It's the same kind of a thing. So I'm just, they could see you as a student. If this is some kind of a degree program, now they're seeing you as a student, and all of a sudden you have you have some burdens. And again, that energy of, this is pretty copacetic. I'm so sorry, I keep saying copacetic. It is pretty matchy energy. I think they are just seeing you maybe you've progressed. And so again, with the Gemini energy up here, they could see you as smart, as a student, maybe even very busy, somebody who moves very quickly, but is still somewhat reserved. With that Cancer energy, maybe you're staying at home a lot because you have to study or something like that. But okay, interesting, because the Virgin, the shadow attribute, is the fear of intimate union. And I'm getting the feeling with this person that you haven't clicked in with this person. There's you're kind of keeping them at bay in some kind of a sense, and this person's picking up on that. And instead of being I wonder why that is. It's they're oh, well, they're afraid of opening up, because that's why they think that you're mysterious and a little standoffish in a really kind of cute way. They see you as cute. I do think. I always get cute with the Page of Swords. Isn't he so cute in his defiance? They could hear you talking about new concepts, things that you're learning in school, because you're a very concept-oriented person. And yeah, this with this Two of Cups in the past position, I was saying, I do think they see you as a person who, it's you achieve your goals, and then you have that restful period of, of living the good life a little bit before you take on your next goal. That could be what the Two of Cups is oh, well, you were in that period of, enjoying life in a very tactile kind of a way, and now you're in study mode, kind of a sense. But they think that you're very beautiful. We have the World card here, which is major arcana. So I think, again, it's you're wrapping up some kind of a cycle. You could be wrapping up some kind of a cycle with them. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you moved away from this person. And that could be with the Page of Wands too, is maybe their future, they saw you as moving away to have some kind of spiritual transformation or to achieve some kind of goal that you had. So yeah, you could have moved away from this person. There could be a lot of traveling. Maybe there's something that you do online and you look really beautiful doing it. You know, maybe your school is online or something. Maybe they're seeing your social media profile with the world here, but they think that you are very beautiful. This person thinks you're very beautiful, like in all ways. They're attracted to your face. They think that your face is very, if you're a woman, like very feminine, very delicate. And then with the energy of Mars there, also your body, you could do very like active things. I mean, maybe you hula hoop or something, or I don't know, like, I feel like you're a very active person. You could post stuff about that on your social media, whether, you know, it could be like just hiking and being in nature. It could be going to the gym, some kind of achievements that you're having, going to the gym, or I don't know, I just wanted to say like pole dancing or hula hooping, or I don't know, something like that. This person finds you very beautiful. I think this person doesn't think that you're looking at them. Like, because with the Virgin card, she's looking off to the side, and then down here with the World card, she's looking off to the side. So it's like this, I'm just getting the energy that, and with the Secret card, you have somebody's back here. I'm getting that you probably moved away from this person, and that maybe they even feel like you're hiding from them. Like, did you cut this person off in some kind of a way, and like you retreated into your shell? But maybe you were throwing some stones. Or like they perceived that through things that you said, through watching your social media or something like that. This person might like your feet. I know that's random, but I just got it and I needed to say it. Yeah, you could have moved away from this person. And then they feel like kind of ignored by you. Because we have the Five of Cups too. So it's like maybe you moved away and certain friendships, like you had to leave certain friendships behind. And that's what this person thinks, is that you're in a period of reflection. Also, because this person in the middle, this is representative of like the Hermit card. This looks like the figure in the Hermit and being like very reflective. So again, with that Virgo energy, that's the energy of Mercury. This person could see that you're studying, that you are going inward, that you're being very reflective. I think this person sees you go in stages of like being more extroverted and being more introverted and being more extroverted and being more introverted, and that you're being more insulated and introverted. And I think that corresponds to you achieving your goals. But with the King of Pentacles here, it's like this person thinks that you're very abundant. Also, they could be seeing that you have somebody in your life that is very abundant, very beautiful. You know, this could be a husband. A lot of times the King of Pentacles is a husband or a father. So they could see you as someone with someone who's very prosperous right now, who's kind of thriving. But there is more of a distance in this over here. I think they think that you're very innocent. You know, kind of what you see is what you get. But you're very protective of yourself, that you have some kind of anxiety or fear about the world or other people. Okay, interesting. With the shadow attribute, inability to commit to a path once found. I think because you walked away from this person, because I think this person sees the energy of travel and meeting a lot of goals. Like, I think when you were around this person seems like maybe they're a little butthurt that you left them. And they just feel slighted by that in some kind of way. But like, because over here when you were around them, they're like, oh wow, you know, like this person is all of this, but you know, they're right in front of me. But it's like when you know, didn't really open up to them or something, then they kind of started, they needed to figure out why, and they didn't have access to you, and they weren't going to ask you. And I don't know, it's like, so they're like, oh well, they can't commit to just one thing. You know, whereas before it's like, look at all these things that this person has achieved. And you know what I mean? It's like got that weird kind of quality to it. So I don't know, pile number 2. Let me know if that resonated. Very interesting. But like I said, you know, there is a lot of matchy-matchy here. I do think they're seeing you in a fairly consistent way. And I wouldn't get too hung up on, you know, I wouldn't take it personally if you feel like slighted by this person or something, because yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. All right. Pile number 3. Let's see how your person was seeing you then versus how they're seeing you now. Okay, wow. Tower twice over here. Okay, so pile number 3, how is your person seeing you then versus now? First of all, there is a lot of similar energies and continuity to this pile. So, but I do think that this person has seen you in a progressively better light, kind of as things have gone on between you. So just overall, I wanted you to know that's the kind of the trajectory that I'm seeing, you know, from here. So let's just dive in. How they were seeing you then. First of all, you could be some kind of a healer with the Virgo energy and the moon energy. This has a lot to do with cycles, with every day. So I think they think you're a very stable person. There's kind of a rhythm to you. You're predictable in a certain kind of way, very steadfast. Virgo ruling the 6th house of every day, of small animals, of you know, health. This is the energy. Virgo really is the energy of medicine and healing. Somebody who is like an earth angel and is very giving. You also have that energy with the moon. And the moon in traditional tarot is ruled by Pisces, and Pisces and Virgo form an axis. So this person kind of sees you in that Pisces Virgo light. This is a very talented healer. And with the moon card, it's like, first of all, look at her hands. So you might do some healing literally with your hands, but whatever healing you do, it's very deep healing, it's very holistic healing, and you also have a mind for details. And I think in the past that could have gotten on this person's nerves a little bit, because we do have the Judge card right under the Virgo, and Virgo's shadow side Virgo, because they notice details. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and it's an earth sign, so it has that very very structured but also mercurial energy to it, which can come off as, you know, judgmental, being kind of nitpicky. It's like nothing, you notice everything, you know, like that Virgo energy taken to the extreme is like, you know, if you have a piece of dust on your, you know, shoulder or something, like a Virgo with that, you know, in an extreme kind of an energy, they would have to like remove it. You know what I mean? And that can be one of the criticisms of shadow side Virgo, is kind of finding faults. But overall, I think this person sees you as like a very refined, I like to say Virgo, I always get like a prince or a princess kind of an energy, where it's like they always use their manners. There's kind of a perfection about them because they notice details, and they also care about other people. They're very aware of themselves in a space. They come off very elegant with their words, especially in their writing. And I am getting the energy of writing, you know, in actually both the ways that they view you. I don't know if you're some kind of a writer, you're really good at writing, but I do think that there's something about that. Definitely this person sees you as very intelligent, but maybe there's a side to you, especially before, like when they don't quite get, right? They can't quite get to, that's a little bit mysterious and hard to put their finger on. And also a little bit more feminine. So with the Warrior card here, I'm drawn to the word skill, because in light attributes it says strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice, conquering the ego. Self-sacrifice and skill, those are other words associated with that Virgo energy, and definitely self-sacrifice with the moon. I do think this person sees you as a little bit self-sacrificial. A lot of times Virgos with that healing energy, they can over focus on healing the people around them and then neglect themselves. So maybe you run yourself ragged during a day. You have a lot to do in a day. Maybe your days get really booked up, or whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's some kind of writing, or with the energy of Virgo here, you could work with small animals, or you're definitely tenderhearted towards animals, but and your person sees that. But you know, you could sacrifice yourself, your emotional well-being. This person could see that, or could have seen that, you know, really drained you in the past, but you were still very determined. You know, you were just determined to be of service. Definitely there's the energy of service here. Yeah, and discipline, definitely. And yeah, I think there's something, like this said, the Warrior card mentions stoicism, but there is something about you that was maybe a little out of reach, a little hard to read for this person in the past. So when they were observing you in the past, like how they felt like at that moment is the Page of Swords. So maybe they thought you were really sharp with your words. Again, we have that with the Virgo energy and the Judgment energy here. that you weren't really considerate of how your words maybe affected other people. Maybe they thought that you gather a lot of information, and that could have to do with your job, like if you're a writer, or if you, I don't know, like you are some kind of, like, you're in healthcare, so you have to, like, take in a lot of information. You have to be very observant. But yeah, this person kind of thought, and I think they thought that it came from like a place of exhaustion, or, being really jaded, maybe something like that. But in the past, it's interesting. This is so interesting to me, because we kind of had this similar thing in the other pile, where in the past it's the Ace of Swords, which I almost see as, I don't know, like a bigger, more mature energy than the Page of Swords. So it's like you came from some kind of mastery. I think this person, again, I'm getting like you have had a lot of maybe education. You've done a lot of reading. You're a very smart person. Whether it's formal education, you like to just expand your mind. I think that you're very interested in higher order things, and you're very concerned with figuring out the right way to do things in order to be the best that you can be in the world. And it comes from a really good place. I really think it comes from a good place. I think your person knows that it comes from a good place. But then, I think that this person kind of foresaw that moving in the future towards the Three of Swords, towards heartbreak, towards, feeling maybe even betrayed, or, picked apart, really wounded and really hurt, and where they kind of had to process after, or like, again, with the writing. I think you guys probably like to write. Maybe you're poets, maybe, or you're doing something very artistic that's also mental. Yeah. But maybe this energy, this swords energy, they didn't really think that it was, going to serve you. And maybe you would feel lonely about it, because maybe people would be so hurt by your words. I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm just trying to like read what's in the cards here. Virgo rules my second house. I really like Virgo energy, values, house of values. So they see you also like as very beautiful, even if it's in kind of a stoic sort of way. I do feel like you maybe have fine, delicate features in some sense of the word. There's just like a delicateness to you, like when they look at you. But like, I don't know, I think that you didn't smile a lot or something, like, and it was hard for them to tell if you were happy, if that's just how you were, maybe like where they saw you, I think this person thought that you were very stressed out. With the Lovers card here, I'm just getting like a lot of mental energy, a lot of conversational energy with that Gemini energy. I don't know, it's like, what is this? I mean, give me a second on that to see what I think that's trying to tell me. So with the Ace of Pentacles, I do think that this person sees that you're of service, that maybe you started your own business, maybe you had just like bought a house, or you were starting a life for yourself, that was in your image, that was very beautiful, especially with that Virgo earth energy with the moon. I think that there's something beautiful about your space. You have an eye for detail, and they could tell like about your physical space and the things that you were building for yourself. I think they probably assumed that you're really good with money, that kind of a thing. Again, we have the energy of 6, which is Virgo. So I just get really mental energy with the Lovers, that you're a very discerning person. You take your time with decisions. You make really good decisions. I think they think that you're very well balanced, almost self-contained. That's what I think with this. Like, you have both the masculine and the feminine, like within yourself. You're almost self-contained. So this person, I do think, is a little bit intimidated by you. A little bit intimidated by you. And I'm almost wondering, like, if this is a romantic connection, I think this person was like, well, where do I fit in? Like, how am I going to bring something to their life? So now, how your person sees you. First of all, like I said, the Moon card in Tarot is ruled by Pisces. We have the Pisces card over here, so that's kind of similar, but it's coming out in more its true form, I think, because there's something kind of shadowy about the Moon. But with this Pisces card here, I think your person sees you as very loving, very nurturing, very wise, very beautiful, serene. a lover of beauty, somebody who leads with love. And again, Pisces being opposite that Virgo energy, I still see the energy of Virgo, especially because the scribe card is under this. I still see the energy of Virgo here, but it's just like it's funneled more through that Piscean energy. So the Pisces is almost, funneling that mercurial Virgo, details and that stability of earth and that writing into this very caring, very beautiful, very artistic. That your person maybe even sees you as artistic, as a bit of an artist. Maybe you actually like to be around water. This person sees you definitely like as less uptight, I think, than they were seeing you before. And I don't know if that's just like the energy that you were in, or they got to know you a little bit better. But because like I said, you could have been starting your own business or something. So you could have been just like legitimately busy and worried and had a lot on your plate and trying to set that foundation, make a bunch of decisions. I do think this person sees that you were in the midst of making a bunch of decisions, or that you were. And making steps towards goals here. Same thing over here with the fire, that you're a very driven person. Together, the Pisces with the fire energy here, I'm getting Queen of Wands. So I think this person there's sexual attraction here, especially with this up here with all the reds and the yellows and stuff. I do think this person, there is a sexual attraction. I think it was there before, but it was also like a little muted, and this person kind of didn't know, and yeah, they didn't know. But I think they find you just physically attractive. So yeah, now there's definitely sexual attraction here. They see that you're really good in a crowd. They've seen you let your hair down a little bit, in some sense of the word. They're seeing you as very intelligent, but in a way that is super benevolent, very loving, very of service, very driven, very passionate. Like you're doing something that's passionate and it's artistic in its own way. And you're very no nonsense about it. But yeah, with the energy of the scribe, obviously like it's the energy of writing, but the light attribute is preserving knowledge and information. And then with the networker, I think you guys are starting your own lives, starting your own business or something. So with the networker, the light attribute is enhances unity through sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. You're definitely sharing some kind of information with people. So before, I think this person was like, well, that's really harsh. But then they're like, because that is also the energy of Virgo. Like a Virgo is going to tell you, that's how they express love, is they're going to let you know. Like to them, if you did have like something on your shirt and they didn't tell you and they let you walk around looking like that would mean they didn't love you. Like it is love to them. Like they curate, so yeah, they're seeing that about you now, where it's like whatever you're doing, it's on a mission. It's of service. So we have the Lover's energy and how they're seeing you, and that's similar. So and then we have a lot more. The energy over here is softer, except for we have the Tower twice. So now, like in the moment that they're seeing you now, we have the Lover's card, which is Major Arcana. And again, it's like it's that Gemini energy, so it's got that swords air quality to it, but it's Major Arcana. And it is, I think this person just seeing you as very balanced. That's definitely what I'm getting here too. So where like they were kind of seeing that Page of Swords, like maybe you were very short with them with your words or something, or that's how they were perceiving it. Now they're perceiving it as community building, as relationship building. Like they're seeing that side of you, where they're seeing that like companionship kind of a situation. They're seeing it's like building, it's building something. And it's also like, I don't know, I think you're doing something to help people. In the past position, we have the Ten of Cups. So maybe they know a little bit more about your family now, and they know that you come from a very loving family, or that you were part of some kind of group. There's just a lot more love, a lot more softness in your background to them than there was before. Because before they were seeing you kind of in a very studious, like sharp, swordsy kind of energy. where that's like kind of softened in a way. And it's almost like, I just want to say, like, you know, the story of the Buddha and how, like, well, he was a prince, you know, and so he had, like, all of his needs met. And this is also, like, Maslow. This is why it's important to take care of, like, little children and their needs to where they don't need to worry about it. They don't know suffering in the world, right? That's the story of Buddha. And then when he left the security of the palace gates and saw suffering and saw sickness, he knew that that was wrong and that that wasn't the way that it should be for people, because he had experienced abundance and having his needs met in the past. And so I think your person's almost seeing you. I'm not saying your person is like thinking you're Buddha, but you know what I mean? Like you are a person who, you know, kind of how things should be. And so when you go out into the world and when you go about doing your daily things, that's what you're doing, is you want to see people taken care of, you know? So in the future position, this is so interesting because, again, like we've got the Tower and the Tower here. So, you know, maybe they foresee a sexual relationship with you because they find you very sexy, first of all. Definitely now. So it could be that. But I think you're breaking down barriers. You're doing something that's groundbreaking, that's earth-shaking through your work, and this person sees that happening for you. I think they think it'll be, you know, like a bit of a turbulent ride. With that fire energy, you're up for the challenge, because the Tower is the energy of Mars. And so it could be that Aries energy of just moving forward towards your goals and knowing that you have to meet certain things head on and push through them. But you are chilling about that. And there's something here with the energy of tradition. Just like, you know, you have divine knowledge and you're here to kind of shake up tradition in a really amazing sort of way. But now your person is seeing you as like you've been through a lot already. You might be tired, exhausted, but you're still fighting the good fight and you're almost there. Like you're getting ready to achieve whatever goal that you set out to achieve. And I think that's a big part of why you do what you do. Like that person seeing that in you now, you know, where like it comes from this really good place of understanding exhaustion, understanding the human experience, understanding the human condition, understanding, especially like coming from a health place, like understanding that how we live and the things that we go through aren't separate from how our bodies are and how our body responds or something like that. And then with the World card, yeah, your person sees you as, first of all, beautiful. I got this in another reading because I'm like remembering, I want to say everything that I said about that, you know, like they see you as beautiful, as, you know, demure, as maybe you have some kind of an online presence. Maybe that's where you're doing a lot of your writing. They're seeing you as more vulnerable than they saw before, but also still protected. Like, you know, because she's completely naked here, where like this person, you know, she's very beautiful and independent with the Nine of Pentacles, and this is the Pre-Empress card, you know, all of a sudden to the World card, where this is the end of the major arcana journey, and she's, you know, completely beautiful, but she's also naked, but she's surrounded by this laurel wreath, you know. So it's like this person, there's a sense of like success or feeling powerful or feeling some kind of achievement to where like you can afford to be yourself a little more or something like that, but it's still very beautiful. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys, pile number 3. If that resonated, let me know. Please do. I'm so interested in what you're doing. You guys seem like you are movers and shakers in this world and that you are on some kind of a mission here. And I think that's definitely how your person sees you, and they see that you have the skills necessary to achieve that. So thank you guys for watching pile number 3, and I'll see you around.